Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik again, and this is the game War in the Pacific, Admirals Edition. My play by email match against Jochen. Scenario 1, 1 day turn setup. And for me it is the Empire of Japan, and Jochen still manage the allies. Today we enter the 3rd of March already, I think. And I catching up some more bases in the Philippines, but undefended, so it's easy picking. No minesweeping. I let my forces merge near Auckland, New Zealand, to save my destroyer with heavy flotation damage. And also my escort destroyers are catching up with my carrier forces near Kapapa. Jochen trying to make more night raids on Bangkok and have here some mixed damage. Overall not really much effect, but maybe day by day it can get more seriously. But I only can use my flak guns, I don't have any night fighters. Especially these B-17s. In the best case I have a 0, but I would simply avoid it. So long Jochen not really can prove that he make damage, I will ignore night bombardment and focus on my flak. One of my cargo ships are sinking here, some smaller mini light cargo ships. But this is the light cargo ship I think gets damaged by the coastal battery of Tarakan, and the normal cargo ships sunk in the port because of the airstrike Jochen did before. So here's a Dutch submarine in shallow water, so I have maybe the opportunity to damage here the sub. But Dutch subs have a good commander, so I think in the first 6 months the Dutch subs are the best the allies have, and then maybe followed by the British subs. American subs, they have not so aggressive skippers, and also the Mark 14 is a handicap. Yeah, but here I cannot really get rid of this submarine. So this is also Dutch subs. You can maybe see it's gray. Gray is Dutch, brown is British, and American subs are green. I think there are only this kind of subs for the allies. Still many allied scouting planes everywhere, scouting my subs, also northeast of Cooktown. So it's hard for a submarine to operate if they always get detection. Okay. Today I try something, because I make the night bombardment on Rangoon before, so I hoped that I can maybe lure some fighters in night cap and have less for day. And I sent now everything out for sweeping missions over Rangoon. The only problem is I think a sweep mission is always a single air unit will operate one by one and not together. So I have maybe here now 5 or 6 different fighter groups making a sweep over Rangoon, but they don't sweep together. So everyone will come one by one. I have so far I really find no way to really let them sweep together. So what is possible is you make an escort, like you pick one bomber for an air mission, and then you can put all your fighters together to make escort. Then you can get them together in one strike. But for sweeping, it's not possible. So anyway, my zeros are... This will be a longer turn. I keep it now like this because there's a long time no real action, so why not? If you want to skip this, you can always try to go 5 minutes forward or something like this. At the end of the battle, you can see the battle report. And I let this play out now. At the beginning, my zeros have the advantage of diving most of time, and later on the greater number of the British will have a toll on my own pilots. So up to now I think it was a 1 kill for me and 1 damage return. So now we have a equal 1-to-1 kill ratio. The big problem is, of course, for me, if I damage here many allied planes, they are simply damaged and can return to base. They really only must land. If I have a damaged airplane, I must always first fly 6-7 hexes back and always make the check if the pilot can survive this in the airframe. So my ops losses will be higher, I would expect. But I saw no other option. If I don't strike now with maybe not too high crazy numbers, before Jochen had here 150 fighters, this I cannot attack. And maybe that his pilots are maybe a little tired because he just come back from China, and some pilots are on night duty. I was simply hoping that I have the numbers at the end of the day. So not more so many of my zeros left, and the numbers of the allies are only increasing. So now you can also see that some hurricanes are diving on my zeros. And we damaged each other. The most dangerous airplane, I mean at least many say this, the P-38 was so far not really active in the war, but now I think they just score the first real hit on my zeros. So there's so many, they're always diving on my poor zero. Now they're coming from behind. That is normally often the case. So maybe this was a I think I lost maybe 2 or 3 zeros, and I can kill 1 or 2 enemy. So at least in favor for Jochen, that for sure. But this was only the first group, so the allies have the best or the lowest fatigue and the highest number. The problem is really only that my zeros, they don't come together. They all start from the same carrier group, but they still don't one fly together. Yeah, this is a little stupid, and I'm not so sure if there's any possible way to avoid this. The first moment my zeros always have an easy kill. They coming, diving, killing, and if I could choose, I would say, okay, go in, kill 2 enemy airplanes, and then simply leaving. Don't fight it out to the end. But it's not possible. So we are now baby to kill ratio 3-3 or 1-1 at the end. But killing buffaloes will maybe not really help me too much. What I want to kill is normally hurricanes and most important maybe wildcats. This is I think the airplanes Jochen need most. Hurricanes are really purely cap fighters. They cannot really escort anything with a range of 3. The buffaloes and the wildcats are American Navy pilots, so they have range and carrier. They can operate from carrier, let's say this. And the lightning is normally long distance escort fighter or sweep fighter, but so far I never really saw them in the meaningful activity so far. Lightnings are high altitude fighters and long range fighters, so if Jochen operates his B-17s in 10,000 feet, the Lightning can normally not escort them very well. I mean, at least Jochen never tried, so I have no opportunity to find it out. So maybe 4-3 kill ratio now. So 4-4. If it's equal, I mean a 1-to-1 kill ratio over the allied base, of course it still favored maybe the allies, at least early on. But these are not more Dutch buffaloes or British buffaloes with shitty trained pilots, so these are now airframes all equal to zeros and Oscars with the same amount of training, more or less. So 1-to-1 kill ratio is maybe still okay. The problem is really only the pilots I'm losing, not so much the airframes. So I only can hope that I'm not losing here over a dozen of my fighter pilots. Or if I can get maybe at least 50% of my pilots from in ratio to my lost airframes back, that is maybe acceptable. So now we have 4 to 5 kill ratio. So 1-0 pilot fighting against I don't know how many allied airplanes here and still is able to damage a Wildcat. And even a second. So he was able to force 2 Wildcats to return to base with damage against all of these odds, but then at the end someone is coming behind him. So 4 to 6 kill ratio. Now the Oscars are coming. And again, at the beginning we diving. But the Buffaloes can always escape this dive strike. And again, the Buffalo. Oh, of course, all of these airplanes, Buffaloes are maybe, yeah, they are Navy pilots or Navy carrier-based airframes. So, and this has a better Buffaloes. They have armor protection. I think from all Buffaloes, the Allies have the Navy Buffaloes are maybe the best. They have range, protection, and firepower. They're maybe not fast like a Wildcat, but not so terrible. Yeah, the biggest issue with my Oscars is of the 2 heavy machine guns. Not really something so great to get a kill. For defense it's maybe okay, simply because if you defend your own base you only must damage the enemy airplane and this cannot attack more, and you have maybe the possibility that a damaged airplane will have an ops loss or on the way back home. But for a attack strike, maybe the Oscar is really just so. But what else? There is no other option. So in the beginning of the war, the Japanese simply have, there's only the Oscar. You can only produce, yeah. So if I have no choice, and I don't must choose. I can only choose to strike or not. And I was waiting for this long time, so I try it here. And if I see it's a success, I can repeat it. If I don't really win anything, I keep it like it and let Jochen come. Jochen threw a lot of his Air Force and all his carriers here in this India western part of the war. And I have my units more split up, more balanced. And after the loss of the Kaga is really, I mean, of course I was able to sink Enterprise, so the balance of power is maybe more even. Still, if we play the number game so early on in the war, I'm not so sure if this will benefit me, so I maybe not push much on Rangoon and Burma and let him come. And I try to strike where I see weak points. I have still the march. After the march I get not more this amphibious assault bonus for unloading immediately overnight. Then I have also to slow down more. And I'm also running out of supplies, so I mean I need an army, can strike, and I need supplies to feed this. And the supplies are running, I would say, at some areas very low, especially in China. So, not so sure. Now the big air wing is coming, so a little unlucky. This is the first small air wing was attacking. It would be maybe better if first my heavy hitters come, but okay, it doesn't matter. So now I have the numbers. Maybe now my Oscars with the great numbers can kill back. I think now we have a kill ratio of 5 to 7, something like this. So in favor for Jochen, and then all the ops coming. So. And again, I can damage many airplanes, but I cannot kill them. So many damaged airplanes for the Allies. But at the end, this will not help me. This will maybe force the airplane to be in maintenance 1, 2, 3 days, and then everything is back to normal. What I need is really only kills. Only a kill is a lost airplane or airframe Jochen cannot use more. And at least to summer or autumn of 42, the production of airframes or the delivery of airframes for the Allies is, I think, the handicap number 1. They have, I think, enough pilots. Maybe they are not all well trained, but they have the numbers. They only have not the airframes. Now we're coming from behind. That is always a good skill. If a pilot is able to, like I said before, coming behind the enemy airframe is a very high chance to create a kill. But this is for both sides the same. So if the Allies can come behind the Japanese pilot, there's also not much hope to survive. And I still have here only my heavy machine guns trying to kill armored airplanes. There's a lot of hit points, so the issue is really that this is an army fighter, the Oscar, so even if I later get the upgrade for the Oscars, the upgrade is more or less only protection and I think a little more hit points, but the firepower is still nothing to have a good kill chance. It's possible, like here we can see, but it needs a lot of skills of the pilot to hit the right move, the right part of it, you know how the game calculated. So then I later get the Tojo, but the Tojo have the same problem. It's have heavy machine guns and light machine guns, so yeah, it's much faster, but no, the firepower is still missing. And after the Tojo and the upgrade for the first Oscar, then there's really not much coming. Maybe in 43, depending how well my R&D is working, maybe somewhere in 43 I can get maybe the better Oscars, but even the better Oscars have, I think, also only heavy machine guns. The end of the last Oscar, the really last, the 45 edition of the Oscars have 2 machine cannons, 20mm. But this is a long way to go. And the Tojos, I'm not more sure if the Tojos ever get 20mm cannons. I think they have then at the end 4 heavy machine guns, something like this. That is not bad. Having 4 heavy machine guns can also create a lot of damage. Yeah, but it's first, I think, the key 84, and that is really purely luck how fast you hit the R&D points. The key 48 is the army fighter. You really can use face to face with every allied airplane in 43 and maybe in 44 with the right pilot. In 45 it's maybe also outdated, but at least something. I was also checking around and playing with some numbers. There's also the Key 100 airframe. It's a sit between a Tojo and a Oscar. It is more or less the third option of a modern army fighter you can choose to build. On paper it looks not so terrible, but you must go for the Key 100. The problem is really the time is so late. It is a 43 airframe, and I think it's better to push the Oscars early on to get the updated Oscars and maybe the updated Tojos, and not going directly for the Key 100. The Key 100 is for the end game also nothing better like the best Oscar or the best Tojo, and far behind the Key 84. So it is a third way, but I see no benefit in it. So I always skip the Key 100. And then there's also the Jet Fighter, but the Jet Fighter is super short range and totally only purely cap fighter. similar to the Hurricane. And there's not really much more. So we will stick with Oscars and with Tojos. Up to now I'm really not sure if the Tojo is really worth all the effort. Like I said before, it is possible to simply avoid the H34 engine, don't produce Helens, don't produce Tojos, put all these engines, factories and tools in other equipment for H35 or H33 and only produce Oscars and only push Oscars and then later try to get the key 84. I mean, this is a tactic, maybe it's working, who knows. And this will help you to maybe push some endgame airframes faster. So my Oscars are still fighting here. The numbers are equal. I damage so many allies, but I not really create so many kills. Less kills than I hoped for. I was hoping for simply less damage and more kills, but it's not working. So now my Oscars also gets damaged. But at least they're not dying immediately. A surprise. Without any armor and so little hit points compared to the Allied. So I'm not sure. I think for Japanese fighter pilots maybe the defense skill is most important. Simply to trying to avoid to get hit. But I mean, every pilot needs a skill. This is also a race against the time. And maybe I was too not aggressive enough in this game to force the air battle so long I had in favor the numbers. So again, nothing really in favor for me. So maybe kill ratio we are now at 10-7. So I lost at least 3 or 4 airframes more than Jochen. Okay, still some zeros are coming, and less the cap fighters for Jochen. Okay, coming from behind, and one wildcat. Killing wildcats would be nice here. Again from behind. And the next kill. But the beginning of every air battle is often in favor for the sweeping. But then the surprise is lost. So now my Zeros really are able to come behind again, but only damage and can return. I also don't know exactly why. I mean, sometimes it's a little strange that the airplane gets damaged, and normally a damaged airplane is always slower and still, but always can often simply say, okay, I return to base. Doesn't matter. There's no one really trying to hunt it down. I think one of the first stuff an enemy fighter pilot learn is hunt down your enemy. Make sure he's killed. Don't let him escape. Don't expect he's crashing somewhere. You see that he's going down. But here, often pilots can turn around and say, okay, I'm damaged, I'm out of the game. So everyone is diving on each other or trying to engage, and at the end everyone is avoiding and evading. Okay, one more behind, one more kill. So I think this engagement is in favor for the Zeros. 3 kills already. It's 3-1. So we are back, I don't know more, at 12-8, still in favor for Jochen, or maybe 12-10. Now it's more like 30-10. Ooh, coming from behind. Okay. So kill ratio back to 3-3. No gain. last 0. Okay, so 3-3 kill ratio. Still no success. Maybe acceptable, but no success. So the biggest air raid here today, the second big army fighter group. Now there's not more much left from Jochen's cap fighter. So now I have the total outclass him with a pure number force. If I get here now 3 or 4 kills and I lose nothing, then we are maybe equal. And I need at least a ratio of 1-to-1 to justify this activity. So at least I get my revenge on this P38. So, and if I can kill one P38 and lose one Oscar, that is a good kill ratio. I would always take. There are not many P38s for the Allies coming, at least not in 42. In official, there are 2 engine fighters. I won't count them like a double kill. Still only 1 pilot in 1 airframe. Oh, yeah, even a killed buffalo or something. So this last battle is of course maybe now really in favor for my Air Force. If this is now related to purely the numbers, or if the enemy camp fighters have high fatigue, maybe a combination. Sometimes it's a little hard to see what the game really calculates. Or maybe if the fatigue of the airframe is or of a pilot is first added at the end of a pulse, like the morning and the afternoon or end of the day. Who knows? And no one can change it. So you can only tell your fighters sweep, cap, and then they do it. And if they have engagement once per day or twice per day or 3 times per day, it's up to the game and how it's calculated. Okay. This was more clear victory, but if it's enough to balance out all my losses if I had over the morning, you see. So this is now bombardment of structure and what it is. Yeah, after Jochen simply left the field, so I can bombard. There was one flag hit, so I lost one of my key 21s. Okay, damage is okay, nothing too special. More strikes coming in. I was hoping maybe to hit some planes on the ground, that Jochen pull out everything he had, and he also don't bring anything back. So a missing opportunity for me. But I mean, at the end, there is nothing to hit. But I was hoping that maybe Jochen bring in some Russian fighters or flying tigers or anything, but not in big numbers. But no. He go all back to Rangoon, looks like. Looks like no airstrike for my carrier near Pago Pago this turn. Oh no, this was only the morning. Ho 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 ho. So maybe in the afternoon. So bad weather. A lot of scouting, because the Japanese have a lot of scout airplanes, and to know where the enemy is always useful information. So, but this was the afternoon, so only scout missions, no real airstrikes. Ooh. My poor damage, heavily damaged destroyer with an unlucky torpedo hit. And allied ships are sinking somewhere. So I try to storm Tarakan with my new Navy Guard units. But I had here last turn I was able to destroy the fort. Today I had normally still 95 attack value to 30, but now completely cannot bring in any attack value on the target. So I was still able normally to inflict the same amount of casualties for Jochen than for me. So I really lost more than Jochen, but I'm out of supplies, and this missing of supplies, I think, is a reason why I cannot bring out of 95 attack value. This is my raw possible maximum attack value to the on the table, more or less. Here, Vater, I take this base simply. I won't have a forward base. I can maybe have a better fighter range if I won't ever use it. Because it's the last base really between Luganville and Fiji can be built out. If I really use it, I'm not so sure. But all the other bases are too small, and if Jochen take it, he have maybe a very short range to Luganville. He can use all bombers in normal range mode. Ilu or Iloyolo, whatever. So this American forces surrender. Maybe they were starving, but no lack of supplies here. But easy picking, so they give up. They don't really fight. And now this British English forces also surrender after, I don't know, 2-3 months, or no, 2 weeks I think of fighting. So they give up. The second unit is still holding. No real change. But it will burn supplies, so these British forces have every turn. I mean, they maybe have no supplies more. And if a unit have no supplies more, it also will suffer. And not even must strike them. Good. End of turn. It was a long turn. I mean, of course, I could rush all this air battle fight, but we don't had so many air battles, and maybe some people like to watch it and get a better feeling and understanding. Good. 3rd of March. So after so many air battles and we saw many fighter dying on both sides, so let's see what really happened. So at the end it was a kill ratio of 1-1, 33 to 34. If this is now in favor for me or for Jochen, hard to say. Most important is Jochen lost mainly Wildcats. This is his premium best fighters. I think he have been 42 for the Navy. And my losses for airframes are balanced 1-1, exactly 16 to 16. On top of this, Jochen lost Buffalo Navy pilots, Lightning, and yeah, that's all. And I lost 2 of my bombers. So maybe can go with this, hard to say. So out of 34 airframes, I lost 10 kills and 7 missing and 3 are wounded. So 17 out of 35, so it's exactly 50%. Yeah. I would not say this is a victory for me, but it's also not a complete disaster. But it's a number game, and I don't think Japan can play this number game. Jochen can too easily reinforce Burma. If I would try this again and again, it will bleed me out, it will bleed out Jochen, and I still don't win the victory. I can only hold the line with this. So I think it's not really a benefit for me. Intelligence tell me there's a dolphin gets destroyed, and I don't know exactly why. If Death Stars, I cannot remember anything. This is a light cargo ship sunk because of a coastal battery fire before, and this ship sunk because Jochen was able to hit it with a 300 kilogram bump. I think 1 or 2 turns before, and then it was burning and had flotation damage and everything. Good. The army points are maybe in favor for me a little, so yeah, now we are 1-11, I would still say. Good. In China, no real change. I mean, I won't try to attack this one last unit, but it escaped. Yeah, of course. So I will heal now a little, and then I will go for, I think, the northern part. I can still switch it, but my recon say here are 29 units with 250,000, and here are only 16 with 120,000. So it looks like the Western Army is double size and double power compared to the Eastern Army, and the terrain is both double. So if I want to kill the weaker unit, I better go for this one. In the center is no change. It looks like that Jochen pulled out of Pingxiang. Okay. But my forces are still here too weak to really attack him. Only roughly 1,000. And Jochen have here, I think, equally numbers. So I must wait that he left the hex before I can take over the base and maybe continue my walk to the west and maybe push him here. These forces are simply not strong enough to really fight. They can only block and hold. If I take this base as 121 additional resources, centers, it's a tactical victory and will help me. Still, I need some breakthrough in this line of center. I must take one of the bases or take Changsha directly. Yeah, we'll see. In the source is no change. Burma is no change. Now we can check here roughly. So first maybe the carriers. So Junio lost, this is I think they lost most of their pilots, or they had a higher number of losses. it's you can see it was original 80 airframes, now 10 are left. So 8 airframes are lost. And out of this 8 airframes, I have 5 killed pilot and 1 wounded pilot. This was a elite group. I mean, you cannot really train them much better. You can see they all experience with 80 and above, and all of the skills are top. So if they cannot be successful, no one can be successful. They lost 8 airframes and have only 5 kills, so this is of course not a good outcome. The second 0 fighter wing, but the problem is maybe the numbers. I mean, the 18 airframes are fighting. And if the enemy have 70 or 50 fighters, then simply there are much more enemies. So that is maybe the big issue here, that they come one by one and not together. This air wing, I'm not sure if there was at full power, but I think so. So I have 19, and from 27, so I lost 8 airframes. Out of 8 airframes, I lost 1 kill and 3 missing, so 50% are coming back. But maybe only I lost 8 airframes, but only 3 kills. And this is a problem. This is a counting up kill ratio. So you don't know, if you don't know what was the number before one turn, then you don't know how many kills you got. But I think this is a new created air wing for me. So I have maybe here a kill ratio of I lost 8 and killed 3. So this would be not a good ratio. These pilots are also normally not terrible. They have air and defense. Some of the defense are maybe not so great, but average of nearly 70 to 70 to 70. I hope simply that I lost the newcomers and that the experienced guys are getting the kills here. This is would be acceptable maybe. Feed the greenhorns and let your elite pilots survive and be creating more and more kills and getting more and more crazy. Shuho was I think, and yeah, maybe this was I hold them back because I don't know if Jochen maybe make a navy strike on my carriers, and it would be terrible stupid to losing all my carriers in a small counter strike. So this guys was also I think the weakest out of all. The defense is only little 60, so and here was the Oscars are running. This was also holding back. This was the cap fighters. They are not so great. You can see the average experience is only just 60. They don't take part. That guys lost 2 airframes. Don't ask me how many kills I create, because I really don't know. They know they had kills before, so now they have more kills. You only can see that there are many of my pilots getting here green points, but not all of them have a kill. So, but maybe if here this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 kills, and I lost only 2 airframes. Okay. This is a smaller air wing. It was at the beginning of the battle. You can see only 8 returned from 12, so 4 airframes lost. But out of 4 airframes lost, only 1 missing pilot. And the kill looks like 3, so maybe not so terrible. This is a second big air wing. Let's go in first. Here we have I lost 2 killed, so 4 pilots lost and 2 wounded. Most of the wounded will come back. So, and I lost 32, so 10 airframes lost, 4 pilots lost, 2 wounded. And how many kills? Again, hard to say. But maybe not so many. So maybe 1, 2, 3 kills. Yeah. But okay. At the end, the kill ratio was 1-to-1. Pilots, I think, of course, in favor for the Allies. Maybe the pilots, maybe Jochen lost only 5 or 10 pilots. I lost 17 pilots. So again, army pilots are more easy for me to replace, but navy pilots I must really hold back maybe. If I do this again, I will maybe use more army zero pilots and not more so many. I will use more Oscar pilots from the army and less from the zeros. Navy pilots, I really must focus their effort. I cannot waste them for this kind of meat grinder stuff. A lot of submarines are here still in Sebang, always here in deep water. Let them stay there in deep water. I bring in now the first units of the 25th Army, I think. More units are coming here. So this is all belonging to the 25th Army. They get their order to take Palembang in, I think 15th of March I can maybe take Palembang. Your Java is clean. So I bring in one Navy Guard unit, but this was not enough to take Tarakan, and I also have not enough supplies here, so I must wait again, create a next invasion force with more supplies, bring in more Navy Guard units, and more supplies. I think the supplies are the big issues, not the Navy Guard unit. But yeah, it's happened. Yeah, here was... yeah, I sent here one how they call it, yeah, the aviation support group, Navy, because I have in this base Navy support but no aviation support. You can see Navy support 36, this is coming from these engineers, so they're helping for unloading and loading and also for repairing of a ship, but they don't have aviation support, so I cannot operate from this airfield any airplanes, not in the long run, maybe for 2-3 days, but then they all have maintenance issues. So I bring this unit, reinforce the base, then I can also operate here fighters. These guys are loading, unloading supplies because they are damaged, and the damaged ships I cannot bring out, so I unload all my damaged ships, and then I can transfer the supplies from the damaged ships to the okay ships, because I have here still more ships in port. They're okay, and these are so only lightly damaged, and then I can simply change the supplies from one ship to the other. The damaged ships I keep in the port and let them repair for 1 month, and then if I clean all of the bases, it's safe for me to sail out, bring them to Surabaya in the shipyard, and then it's fine. But it needs 1 month, I would say. And here's also one carrier group, giving no air cover. Before I fail with this, but I hope now, maybe if Jochen try it again, I can maybe get rid of this Dutch bombers. Here is still my 2 cruiser formation. They running here left and right and trying to find something, but I think it was already 2 days I'm here, or 3 days, and still nothing. I will see how many days I can stay here. I think latest 15th of March I also must return. And in East Australia, here's a damaged destroyer trying to return, but we had a failure in the repair of the flotation damage. So if the flotation damage go over 80, I think the destroyer is lost. So long it's under 80, I can at least try to return. I go direction of Norfolk Island. At the same time, I will bring in my special operation. So this is a Navy Guard units, small detachment. I can take the base to make sure that he has no scout airplane, and also if the destroyer getting let's say dangerous close to 80, I can maybe put and park the ship in Norfolk Island. It will maybe not repair here, but it will not sink here. So then I can wait and see if I can ever bring a repair ship here down, but of course it is unlikely. But at least I can try to save my first class destroyers if there's a possibility, because I will let no one behind. I'm Japan and not America. We fighting for honor and we die for honor, but we also fight together to fight and die together. Good. Not much more to say here. Maybe in Tulagi. So I was waiting, or had to wait for my escort ships because they don't have the fuel to run in full speed. And I had no navy strike because I think this turn I only make. I was not sure why. Yeah, I think I forgot to put them on port strike for secondary mission. Maybe I must do this next turn. So I still see here 3 ships in port and no enemy fighters. Maybe I will sail around and see if there are other ships. Normally I like to... Port strikes are always so... The effect is limited because the ship is already in port, and if you don't really create enough fire damage or sink the ship immediately, it will be crippled in the port, but it's not so easy to really sink something in the port if you don't have heavy bombers and a lot of bomb load. I like to normally attack ships on the open sea, then they are much easier to sink. Good. I think this is first enough. My submarines are now here all in position, but it looks like that Jochen is not going this way, so I will bring all my submarines now down to Auckland and then later to Wellington. I already blocked Wellington from the south. I will also try to make a blockade from the north, and then maybe I can still catch something. Good. Thank you all. Take care. Bye bye.